guys, so I'm here today to talk about Rose Doll Show 2017. My mom and I went to the Rose Doll Show, just the 2 show days. We did not do anything else. Once we decided to go and were able to buy the tickets and everything else was sold out but the 2-day show pass. So that is all we did this year. If you know from my last year's video, which I will put in the link below, we went to the banquet. This year, the banquet was a much smaller scale, so they did not have any tickets once we arrived at the venue like they did last year. As for everything else, that was an extra. The only thing that they had tickets on site for was the ice cream party, and they were still selling tickets for the ice cream party on the Saturday when the show closed. But that is just an overview, and now we're gonna really get into what happened and what we thought of Rose 2017.
I think one of the things that we noticed right away was that it was really, it's called the Rose International Doll Show, and it really was international this year.
Yeah.
There were a lot of doll artists there from Spain, from Australia, from South Africa. So there were people from everywhere, not just Utah or places in the United States, but from all around the world. And some of the people were crafts people selling knitted items or other doll hobby support type items. And then some were actually artists who did dolls.
And what I thought was kind of interesting to like tie into the international was, did you see on the second day some Chinese tourists came in? Yes, they came in and they were taking photos and they were speaking Chinese to each other or speaking Mandarin, and they were just kind of taking it all in. But I think that they seem to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, I think, did Ping Lao have a table?
No, Ping Lao wasn't there. There were tons of Ping Lao sculpts though. She was well represented both at Irresistibles and the artist tables alike. She had a lot of her sculpts there.
And in fact, the 2 babies that we brought home were from international artists.
Right, they were both from South Africa. If you don't remember who their artists are, I'll refresh your memory. This is our Albie baby. Our Sharon baby actually went on an outing with us today, and we filmed a little clip that you'll get to see. And she was by Sharon Hoffman, and she's the Evelyn sculpt. And this little girl here is Andrea Arcello, sculpt by
Albie Wenzel.
Albie Wenzel, yeah. She's the Greta.
Okay. And then the other thing that I think we should mention right off the top is that this year's show was much more organized than last year. You actually could find the booths if you looked on the floor plan that they had in the middle of the book.
They were where they said they'd be.
Right.
And it just seemed there was a theme this year. Last year the theme really got lost in the hubbub of everything, but this year the theme was sweets and candies, and they even had shirts for people to wear. And this is one of my doll show shirts, and you can see they stuck with the theme. It has a cupcake and it says, you're in for one sweet treat.
One sweet treat.
The other one is one sweet time or something like that.
Yeah.
But they had 3 different types of shirts, but they really stuck with their theme, and you could tell that they knew what they were doing from the minute the show opened to the minute it closed. They were very much in charge. Bountiful Baby also seemed more involved, which I liked because they really made it an enjoyable experience. Last year was really good too, but this year was just different.
Yeah.
it was much more organized, and since it was much more organized, you kind of felt more relaxed.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like, oh, well, does anyone know what's going on? And there were some times last year when you kind of felt like that.
Yeah. I think the other thing with it being more organized was if they were having events like drawings and things like that, and they said that the drawings would be at 11 o'clock.
They were at 11 o'clock.
1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Then they were at 11, 1, and 3.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't like anyone forgot about them.
Right. And then...
And last year, if you watched In Love with Reborn's video, they forgot to give her doll away. So that didn't happen this year as far as I know.
Yeah.
They didn't forget to give anything away or forget to do a drawing or anything like they did last year.
The other thing with that was that when last year they had different types of workshops and things like that that they offered during the days of the show.
Yeah.
Like mini workshops that were free.
For instance, Linda Hill did an rooting lashes workshop. I have a clip of that, but I've never uploaded it. But I've never uploaded it, so I can't tell you where to go look for it.
Yeah. And then this year they only had one demo or workshop, and it was on making headbands, and it happened so quickly we didn't get a chance to go to it.
Yeah, and it was only for mini babies. It wasn't. So if you had like a 10-inch or a 12-inch baby, then it would work for them. Otherwise, there was no reason for you to really go.
Yeah.
Also, some of their headliners that really drew a lot of people last year, like Julie Molloy, she wasn't there this year. So as you noticed, I didn't post a Julie Molloy alien birth or birth video, and it's because she did not have a booth. She was not there at the doll show.
And Laura Lee Eagles was not there.
Yes, Laura Lee wasn't there either. The artists that were there were Denise Pratt. Donna Rubert was somewhere, but we never got to see her. Denise Pratt had a booth. Cindy Musgrove, I think, was there.
Yeah. I don't know. There might have
a
been
bunch of
others.
Bountiful Baby artists or sculptors were there.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. Because it was very prevalent that they were there. They were mentioning them all the time.
Yeah, yeah. I think there were larger crowds.
Oh, yeah. The crowds were crazy. Everybody also seemed to have a stroller. Last year, most people were carrying their doll. Some people didn't bring a doll. Some people chose to wear their doll. We chose to wear henna. That stopped around midday because we had to carry her in a bag because she got heavy. But this year, a lot of people had the umbrella stroller. They had their big travel systems. They had their carriage strollers.
Yeah.
Basically any type of stroller you can think of, it was there at the doll show. I got to see a Duna for the first time in real life. Not for my taste for a reborn, but for a real baby, those seem very practical. But that's a whole nother thing. Search Duna if you don't know what I'm talking about. D-O-O-N-A. Amazing things. But because of the stroller traffic and the people traffic, it was very packed and very hard to get around. There were a lot more people filming as well.
Yeah.
And so if you're thinking of going next year and you don't like to be on film, that is something you should take into consideration. Because my mother didn't want to be on film. She's in my videos, and she's also in the official Bountiful Baby
all
video.
All over the Bountiful Baby video.
She's everywhere.
I'm on the if you were there and you filmed, I'm probably in your video.
Yeah. She's probably there.
I've seen myself all over YouTube.
Yeah.
And that was not my goal.
No, she was trying not to be on YouTube. But she's everywhere, and sometimes she's there and I'm nowhere nearby, so I'm not really sure. And I don't remember her leaving me a lot at the doll show, but apparently she did.
I don't remember it either, but I guess I must have wandered away.
Yeah.
Maybe if you kept a better leash on me, I wouldn't be all over YouTube.
Yeah. But if you don't like being on video, maybe you should stay away, because they did this year have a big sign outside the where we were standing in line. I don't know if I got it on film, but they had a sign that said, "Past this point, you consent to be on film."
To be on film, yeah.
But they filmed us in the line, which they never asked anybody.
Yeah, they had a drone.
They had a drone, and they did not ask anybody. All of a sudden, the drone was just flying in the building. And that kind of, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't have bothered me, but I kind of felt like it did, because you knew beyond that point you were going to be filmed.
And they told everybody to wave.
Yeah, they told us all to wave. But they didn't say anything about us being filmed. And then they just started filming us. And I kind of felt like a little warning would have been nice, because I want to know what I was doing when you started filming. Not that I was doing anything bad, but you know, you don't want to have like a like that type of face when they're
your mouth hanging
open. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know that you're going to be on film, and so I would have just liked a little heads up that they were planning on filming people. Everybody as well seemed to be filming. When we were in the line, there were tons of children with cameras, which is really cool. But I didn't know. I think that for every person that was there was a camera.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe every group that was there, I'll say. Because, you know,
and some groups had multiple cameras.
Yeah, some groups had multiple cameras. And last year, not a lot of people filmed. And when they did, they were very discreet about it. People didn't feel comfortable filming last year.
Yeah.
I know I didn't. But this year I was kind of just like, I need to get the film. I hated not having a lot of footage when I got back. And I wanted to make sure I had footage. This year, I had over 70 clips from the doll show, and I felt really proud of myself. As you saw, my videos are both over 20 minutes long, I think. So. And,
let's see. Another thing I would say is that there were a lot more vendors this year than last year. Oh. There were like 80, maybe 90 vendors.
Last year you think there was 80 or 90?
No, this year there was 80 or 90.
Yeah, this year was 80 or 90. Last year I would say maybe 50 signed up and maybe only 35 came.
Okay, 35. This
year there was only one booth that was empty, and they left that person's name tag up there.
Like maybe they thought she was going to come in later, but she didn't.
But she didn't.
And they finally on the second day allowed another vendor to move. They rearranged
people on the second day. That is something that was different. They did rearrange people on the second day. It was just in that little section, but they did rearrange, and it was quite a big rearrangement if you know, if you needed to get over there or wanted to get over there, and then you got over there and you're like, where is everybody? Because it was about the people that were in that cluster were the Australian vendors, and a lot of them had clothing. A lot of it was knitted clothing, and so if you couldn't remember specifically what item it was, you might have gone to the wrong vendor.
Yeah. It
was a lot of knitted clothing in that one area.
Yeah, and if you saw our haul video with the Australia tag on it, the lady that we bought that from was one of the people who moved from one day to the next day, and we bought it from her on the second day.
Right.
So we did have to kind of like
figure out where did she go? Where did we see that?
Yeah.
I thought we saw it over here, but it's not here. We weren't sure if it had sold or anything, and then we found her table and we were like, oh, it didn't sell. I want that.
The giveaways and prizes, to include the things that were in the vendor bag, were sometimes, I think, a little bit more centered toward trying to encourage people to reborn.
Oh, yeah.
I know the vendor bag
is for the people.
Was for people who probably already reborn or paint.
But they allowed others to purchase it,
right.
And they didn't make it any different. They didn't take out the kit or anything put anything else in there that might be more along the lines for somebody who doesn't paint.
And the spinning wheel and cookie board.
And the spinning wheel and the cookie board, you could all get a kit. Or you all saw that I got the fluff, the angel silk. What am I supposed to do with that? Well, turns out I'm gonna do something with it, but
yeah.
How did they know I was gonna be able to do anything with it? They didn't. And so their prizes
and I won the bean kit.
Yeah, she won the bean kit. And all of the prizes, or the kit, both kits, you had to go and get bodies.
Yeah.
They did not tell you what size bodies, mind you. So you
or
had to go.
What size eyes for the ones that had eyes.
Yeah, for the bean kit, it needed eyes. So you had to go to Bountiful Baby and buy it from them. And that's how they got themselves some money.
Yeah.
So.
Prices.
Prices. Let's talk money now, people. I said that last year I thought it was expensive, and this year just knocked that out of the park. This year was very expensive, and it didn't mean it was good. There were a lot of vendors, but it seemed like a lot of vendors were trying to sell their dolls for upwards of $8.50.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like Sealy sized dolls. I'm talking like Jimmy Boy or Bronwyn type dolls. Very, well, Bronwyn's not small, but you know, the 3-month, the newborn, that was it. It didn't get beyond 3-month or newborn, and they were trying to sell them for upwards of $8.50. We were lucky enough to get Bronwyn from Albie, and we got Bowen from Sharon, and both of those women have amazing prices. They are well worth everything they ask you to pay for the doll. And they were under that $808 and well under the $850 that a lot of these dolls were starting at. And I personally would say that these dolls are worth more than we were asked to pay for them.
Yeah, I would say so.
So I was not pleased to see the pricing that some of these people were asking for.
A lot of vinyl dolls, not silicones, vinyl dolls, $1,100, $950.
A lot of people were trying to get their money back from what they spent coming over, which is understandable. But you shouldn't try and get that all back in one doll.
Yeah.
I know that some people who were asking those prices, they went away with all of their dolls.
Yeah.
Or only one selling.
Yeah.
And one particular booth that went away with maybe 1 or 2 dolls gone brought 15, I think.
Yeah.
They brought about 10 to 15 dolls, and they had to bring back 13 of them.
Right.
Because people just couldn't afford it, because they had to travel to get there. And I know, for instance, like In Love with Reborns, very good on her. She knocked her prices down because she understood that people had to pay to get there. It wasn't just like Layton, Utah is everybody's backyard. So she knocked the prices down.
There was another lady.
Julie Beck has really reasonable prices, and she sold out first day, no problem. Albie sold out. She has really good prices. She sold out within maybe the first 3 hours or something. She had babies on the second day from her contest, but she sold out from her babies that she had on her table. And Sharon, I think she sold out by the end of the first day, and she has very reasonable prices. Sharon Hoffman. There might have been other people who sold out, but I don't know their names.
There were a couple of folks that had babies that were in the 300 to 500 price range, and I think they did some pretty good business. And really helped a lot of reborn collectors to be able to go home with a nice doll. But there were only a few that were in the
$300 to $500
range.
Yeah. There were a lot of sleeping babies as well.
Yeah.
There were a lot more sleeping babies than there were awake babies.
And when we talk about the $1,100 babies, these were not toddlers.
No.
These were
there weren't any
small, no larger than 3-month size babies.
Yeah. The toddlers that were there, I think I could probably count how many there were on one hand, and most of them I don't think were for sale. Denise Pratt had 3 dolls at her booth that were toddlers, and they were just on display.
Yeah, just as part of her decoration for her booth.
Yeah. There were also some artists there that weren't selling, which was different. I didn't know how to feel about that. I don't know why you come if you're not gonna sell. Maybe it's to drum up some business, but
yeah, almost like a showroom to let people see what you're capable of.
I just feel like it's a lot of money to spend to then not sell, and then you have to send it back.
And they had the dolls there on display.
Yeah.
And just no price tags. And when you inquired, they said, I'm not selling, I'm not selling.
And especially when you think about, it was one of the doll artists that we said we wanted to see because they make dolls that we're interested in. And we went over there thinking, okay, well maybe we'll get one of their babies. And no, you weren't gonna get any. Because they weren't selling. Which, again, odd. What else?
The shipping. And I know we talked about that in another video, but just to like bring it back to people's minds again.
As for shipping, they seem to only do it on Saturdays after the show ends. You can bring anything there to them to ship. It is not a flat rate fee of $7.95 like some people were telling people. It is whatever they want it to be.
It's by weight, and it was all shipped U.S. Post Office priority. Our package did arrive
on Monday. We shipped it on Saturday, apparently.
Yeah.
They apparently ship them out right after the show ends.
It got here with no damage, no problems. And we really would not have been able to get all of the stuff home without that service. Even though we went and got another small suitcase.
Yes, we did.
We would have had to get a big suitcase, check some things, and then be afraid that someone was going to be either calling us down because the glass beads or the doll body parts showed up in an x-ray as something that needed security's attention.
Yeah.
So it just was a lifesaver to have that shipping service right there on site.
Talking about traveling, we had a much better experience at Salt Lake this year. First, we'll talk about BWI. BWI did the same thing they did last year, swiped him down, he was good to go, which confirms that he didn't fail last year. They just had something, the guy just had something on his gloves, because we haven't done anything to him since last year. We've changed him and stuff, but that's it. Yeah. We haven't reweighted him, we haven't taken anything out. So in case anybody's wondering about their Julie baby, it's fine. It's gonna be okay. So Jimmy Boy passed with flying colors and he came through fine the first time around. We came back through Salt Lake. Our flight was an evening flight this time, and maybe that's why it was so good. But I know some people had evening flights last year and they still had a hard experience, so I think it might have just been the luck of the draw. We were wearing both Bronwyn and Bowen through security. She was wearing Bowen, I was wearing Bronwyn. That was an interesting ordeal in and of itself. I'm not going to get into that because it's just too much. But we took them off and we put them in through the bin. We put them all in the same bin. They ran them through, looked, and the guy went to pull them out, but he looked and then he put it back in through the metal detector or the X-ray machine, and he just let it slide through. And we were both, my mom was standing and like looking. Well, then that machine where you have to stand like this and the doors swipe in. I came through there. They wanted to scan my hair because of, you know, they wanted to scan that. So they scanned it and then they wanted to swab it. I said, do you want me to just take my hair down for you? She goes, no, I know it's all hair, but I have to do this. And she swabbed my hair. And then she said, I need to swab your hands. And she said, palm up. And so I did this. And she swabbed with the strip that they normally put on the dolls. She swabbed my hand. And then she said, okay, you're good to go. And my mom and I both looked at each other like, what?
And I said, can we take them? And they said, yeah. And so we got our stuff and got it out of the way. And yeah.
Yeah.
Much easier experience.
It was so easy. They didn't do anything to the dolls. Nothing. And earlier in the day, we'd actually heard about a girl who I think she said her aunt went through with her doll, and it took her a half an hour to get through security, and she went through Salt Lake. So really, I think it is the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're going to get. But you have to have the peace of mind and the confidence that, you know, your doll's going to be fine and you're going to get through. And, you know, even if the sad part comes and they take the doll apart, you can always put it back together or send it back to the artist and have the artist do it. But, you know, there is that.
And if it happens on the way there is a doll hospital at the show where they will, you know, put the baby back together. And
re-weight the baby for you
if
they take some of the stuff out of it. So there is that. And as for outside of the show, when you were walking around Layton, there were a lot more people with their reborns.
Yeah.
So it was interesting because we were going into Toys R Us, which is right behind the hotel. And we had driven there after going to Target, and we were walking out, and here come these people with their reborns going into the store. And it was just interesting to see because, you know, where I live, there are other reborn people. I actually live in a town with a reborn artist, I guess. But you don't really run into people with reborns very often. So it's kind of, it is very neat to see that and actually get to experience seeing other people with reborns out and about. We took Hannah out last year. Did we take anybody out this year? Jimmy Boy went to Noodles and Company with us the first day.
Jimmy Boy went to Noodles and Company. I don't think we took anybody else out.
Yeah. We just didn't really have time. We didn't really leave the hotel much this year. We ate at the hotel a lot.
Yeah.
So. And and speaking of the hotel, there was a wedding going on at one point. So I
feel sorry for the bride because as she's walking down the aisle, there are people who were leaving the last day of the doll show who I'm certain are in the pictures that the photographer was taking of her coming down her aisle. And some people actually stopped to watch the wedding.
Yeah.
Like it was an event.
Television show.
And unless somebody scooted them away or shooed them away, they are in that bride's pictures.
Yep.
Any pictures that were shot looking down the aisle toward the bride, walking up the aisle with her father or whoever was walking with her.
There was also a business conference going on, I think.
And that was on the Thursday and the Friday. Yeah.
And it was not fun. One of the ladies came out and she made a snide comment to us. She said, "Y'all playing with baby dolls down there?"
Yeah.
So, you know, the atmosphere in the hotel really, in that sense, wasn't the same as it was last year. There were a lot more outsiders, I guess you could say. But when you would go to eat, it was mostly Reborn people that were eating
and sitting in the lobby,
sitting at the lobby,
and people would come up and talk to one another in the lobby. There were some groups that seemed to have come together, and they kind of stuck together.
Yeah.
But there were a few people who were alone, staying at other hotels and coming over to the convention center hotel.
We met Reborn Mommy of 10.
Yeah, and those people came in and they would sit and chat with you.
Yeah,
in very friendly atmosphere.
We sat in the lobby with her and we talked before the baby shower, before she had to go to the baby shower. And I think we had a good time. And then we stood in line together. Yeah,
the next morning at the opening, we stood in line with her.
Yeah.
And we also met, what was the other lady? All for
Reborns.
Yeah.
Yeah. We met her. She's very nice. We saw her last year.
Yeah, yeah.
She liked my hair.
and so it's a very nice atmosphere.
Yeah.
A little bit of a bump with having the outside events going on at the same time, which is also part of the reason why they couldn't have a bigger space for the banquet and offer more tickets to the banquet.
Right.
But if you're able to go, if you're able to start saving now and go next year, I think it would be a very wonderful experience. If you're a person who's a doll enthusiast and you like Reborn dolls, and I think it's the place for you to go.
Yeah, I think it's really...
And it's a wonderful experience.
It's well worth the money and the hassle getting there, because being there for however long you can be there, the 2 days, the whole week, whatever, it's an environment that makes you feel like this hobby isn't so lonely. It feels like, you know, you're not just some person playing with your dolls and getting nothing out of it, because these people understand. They aren't going to look at you and be like, oh my God, why are you babying this doll? They baby their dolls too, so they get it. Yeah. They get that you give them personalities, and they get that you think about their names, and that, you know, you think about, oh, would she like me to get this outfit for her? Or,
and there are people from, you know, little kids up to like 80-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, in every age in between. There are teenagers. There are people in their 20s. There's every age that you can think of.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm fiddling around because it's not focusing as well as it did, but that's okay. We're just gonna have to deal with a blurry video.
And having said all that, the tickets are up on the Rose Doll website now.
Yes, the dates are July 11th through the 14th, so it's a different week. And we will be there. So even if you can't go, you can stay tuned to the Rose 2018 videos that we will be putting up, because, you know, we've got you covered. We're going to be putting up tons of videos. And we are going to buy our tickets tonight, so we will be sure to be going to the baby shower, the banquet, and the ice cream social. So we'll have all of those videos for you. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like this video if you've liked seeing all of the Rose videos and you definitely want more for next year. And stay tuned.
And Katie, if you're watching, it's really fun.
Yes, Katie, it's very fun. Alright guys, I'm thanking you for watching my video. It's very, very long. It's about 30 minutes now. That's okay. I ramble. And hopefully these cute faces made you want to watch. See you in the next video, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.